So this is the next N7 case, now with motherboard, CPU, cooler, graphics card, and our plate, backplate and seg plate put into place. You're gonna notice that we went with a very red and blue flavor of coloring, kind of matched with the Mass Effect main theme is. Then if you look at the backplate and the seg bracket that are on top of the GPU, you'll notice that we moved it down from the first one to the second one. Now, a lot of people get confused saying that you can't run a graphics card in slot 2, but that's not necessarily true. On older boards, that was an issue, because it's less likely that your slot 2 would have the 16 lanes of PCIe. But here we have 16 lanes available in slot 2 as long as slot 1 is not in use. And these separate motherboards, like this is an X570, is designed so you can run 2 graphics cards at the same time. This was a little bit more of a complicated build when it came to slotting a couple of things. Mainly because on the right hand side where you normally have the inside screw sets for the graphics card, they're actually on the outside, which for the most part doesn't really matter, but you do have to take that into account, especially if you're going to buy something like a RGB seg bracket, because none of the documentation will show you that it's actually like 2 or 3 millimeters too thin of a spot for the bracket to fit into that spot, which also kind of went into our design aspects of bringing the whole GPU down a set, because now it's more resting on the bottom of the plate. So that's kind of where it is. This case is definitely smaller than what the previous one was. It probably took off about a good inch and a half on all sides, which is very nice. Now you're also going to notice that the where the water pump, where the radiator and the fan are at, definitely buds up right next to where we have the black and red and white cables for our power supply. That's completely fine. It's not really going to cause anything. They're not actually touching. I know if you look really, really closely, it's going to look like they're touching, but they're actually not. There is enough of a little gap there. The fans are sitting this way on it, so the airflow will kind of push through the top fan sucking out and the back fan sucking outwards, which is what you want in a case like this. Now, next there's a couple of interesting things. Like you could have obviously got a one fan water cooler, and if you were to do that, you could put it on the back side or the top side, preferably the back side. Besides that, this case was a pretty good little build. It's a little tight in the back because the cables used, the custom cables we got, were very, very thick cables. They're sturdy cables, meaning that they don't bend around quite as much. We installed EVGA Precision 1 to turn off the lights on the graphics cards, and then we are using Aurora's RGB Fusion 2.0 to handle the RGB on the backplate, the seg bracket, and the whole motherboard. Also with this case, so you get the standard like Wi-Fi 6, not the case, sorry. With this type of motherboard, you get the standard Wi-Fi 6 cable. It's not the magnetic one that's going to sit on top of it, which I'm kind of wishing they would go away with. I understand why they're doing it. And you kind of need to have it on there if you want Bluetooth or you want your Wi-Fi. I kind of wish they went to the radial circular ones that we were using in like the Wi-Fi 5 version of these boards. Now it works, but I prefer the other ones. So the next Kraken does a really good job of being able to have a GIF in being able to do any type of thing on this one here. You can see Legion from Mass Effect. Kind of doing a little bit of a dance going back and forth on the screen. You can get all types of GIFs installed. Basically, if it's a GIF, you can put it on there. And there isn't really a limitation on it, as long as it fits into the size capability of it. Other things on this channel, how to do certain tech things, networking, server, IT level stuff, and I also do a little bit of gaming on here if you're interested in it. So thank you for watching, and come back again.